Was last night kind of, what is the level of disappointment after last night for you guys?
I mean, after every loss, it's a level of disappointment, but I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. It's frustrating. But like, when we lose, we kind of had the same, dialogue about being disappointed. Shoulda, this should have happened. Blah blah blah. I think you just got to get to a point now. We just gotta do it and let us doing what we need to do be the result of the topic of the conversation. Going forward, because it's more so even disappointing to continue to have the same conversations over and over.
You guys had such high expectations, and I know it's still an early start to the season, not Christmas yet, but from that standpoint, just how shocking this is.
I mean, it happens. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes the true character is shown when you going through something. How you get out of that is yet to be seen. And that's what we got to focus on. It's easy to dwell in something that you didn't expect in a moment, but we just got to take it one day at a time. Have this conversation again late January. Make sure it's not the same type of sentiment that we have now.
Mike Brown has preached a lot about you guys coming out and setting the tone early on so you're not playing catch-up late in the game. We saw it with the Denver game. We saw it last night. What do you think you guys have to do to play with that sense of urgency right off the top to get going?
I mean, either we just got to have the right mental approach, or we line up 15 cans of Red Bull before the game. One of the two, but it got to happen so we don't put ourselves in those situations early on.
When you're experienced, when you go through stretches of, attention to detail and things like that, does it make the next mistake almost that much more magnified?
I mean, you can't really put it on yourself too much in that way, because you'll drive yourself crazy. You got to look at the mistakes, look at what needs to be corrected, and understand that, with all positivity, and not look at it like, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have possessions where something don't go right or you miss a shot. That's going to happen. You can't let that accumulate and make the weight on your shoulders feel heavy. You just got to take it, in a positive manner, whatever it is that need to be corrected, and make sure you do those things more times right than wrong next time around.
With the loss, how nice is it to be given a chance at the Lakers tomorrow night?
I mean, it's always great just to get back, understanding what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, what to expect. That's fresh in your mind. So, looking forward to it.
How much do you hear Mike emphasize the possession game, and what's your perspective on how crucial that is?
I mean, he's right. I mean, us as players, we understand it as well too. How important possessions are, how important moments are in the game, because we all know just as much as we can get hot and do great every possession, other team can do the same. So we definitely conscious of it. And it's just on us to make sure we win those battles more so than we lose them.
You've been in a handful of scenarios. Just kind of what's your perspective at this point of this group of guys and how Mike coaches them in his style?
I mean, we're going to be all right. I mean, it sucks right now. It's always, you can look at the negative stuff here and there, but we're going to be all right.
How do you feel you guys can make up for length? I mean, a lot of these teams that come in there is bigger. You obviously go up against.
I mean, it's a collective effort. We got to put that in our mind more so than ever. It's a collective effort. We all got to be on one stream, offensively and defensively, to help each other. As long as we do that, it'll make it a lot easier on ourselves.
Last night, Coach was talking about how maybe some of the bounce passes that you guys have been doing, especially with the short guy on Domas. Was that maybe an area that was addressed today at practice?
No, we just watched a lot of film, things we can clean up, be better at, turnovers, opportunity to get easier shots. But we're aware of that, just the passing to him in the post, being more conscious and aware of that.
Thanks, everyone.
What did you see about them getting all those offensive rebounds? It looked like it was a couple of crashes from that.
I mean, a lot of them bad bounces. It's gonna happen. I mean, we just gotta be more aware, understanding if we're gonna make a miss, limit them one opportunity, keep our senses high, and understand that they going for it, but we gotta win it more.
How bad did the film look that night after the next day?
Tough to watch. I mean, obviously the
the little things we let slip away in a game that we could have won had we taken care of that. So just watching it back is you just give a little bit of extra effort, on certain plays, and you kind of clean up the things that were killing us. So yeah, it definitely hurt.
Mike has kind of had a laundry list of things that just aren't working for you guys. Is there one or two that you hone in on the most and saying this is the most important?
I think some of the things like the boxing out, everyone's trying to get, extra possessions. So, we have to finish our defensive possessions by boxing out, getting the rebound so that way we can push. And then, last game we took a lot of tough shots. So, I think we emphasized even more this morning, to just spray the ball and kind of let the offense, find itself and whatnot, and not make it tough on us. Obviously, we have guys that can, score at high levels, but I think, if the ball is moving, it makes it hard for the defense one and then better for us too.
Do you feel you guys as players do a good enough job of calling it out when it happens amongst yourselves?
I would say it could be better. Obviously, there's a little bit of, not wanting to step on guys' toes. Guys are probably trying to get to their spots, and, they're shooting shots that they probably make most of the time. So, for guys feeling it's a little bit of, that's his shot, and then you don't want to, kind of take him out of his rhythm for the next time he gets to his spot. He's like, oh, do I kind of look for something else or whatever? So, a little give and take on that one.
You're not out there for a decent amount of it, but what have you just made of the slow starts that you guys have gotten out to, at least last two?
I don't know. I think just kind of have to lock in a little bit more on what the other teams are doing to get those leads and whatever we're not doing for them to go on runs and to try to fix that early, try to nip that. So, even with the Denver game as well, we came back. We were down big and we come back. But I think if, you start the game off with that type of intensity and focus, you put yourself in a better situation.
And then when you're kind of watching that and then check in, just what's your mindset on trying to straighten things up when you come in after a slow start?
I just try to come in and do what I do. Just defend, bring energy, do all the little things, and, just do my job and, be in the right place and get the ball to the right places. So try to be vocal out there and help us with, whatever you're seeing is not being done on the bench or whatever. So just kind of try to go out there and be me and just let everything take care of itself.
And each of the last two, you kind of just mentioned it, but you guys did manage to bounce back. Is there an encouraging aspect of what you're seeing in some of this film as well?
I think we kind of know we're good. So for us to watch and see that we're down early, and then we fight back. We've done it plenty this season, so we know that we're a team that can fight back. But I think we have to just show that we're a team that is willing to punch first. So I think that's more of what we need to do.
During Mike Brown's post-game presser yesterday, he started off saying that he didn't yell at you guys or scream at you guys after the game. More of like, you guys know what needs to be done, and there was a sense of frustration from him. How do you feel that you and the rest of the team have been responding to all of these challenges that he's putting before you and emphasizing?
I think we've heard it, but I think we still need to do a better job. There's been multiple games where we've lost because we didn't box out, teams are getting extra points. Or there's games where teams have gotten a good start on us or it's a close game because we haven't taken care of those things. So I think honestly, when you go back and watch the film, it's kind of a couple of the same things from night in and night out. So I think you just got to go out there and try to be better at those things. At some point, you're going to keep seeing the same things. So you're going to just have to go out there and be better at those things to put ourselves in better situations, no matter what part of the game or time of the game it is. So I think that's what it'll be.
You seem in high spirits, of course, given through the struggles. Just how important is that positivity and perhaps any optimism and belief that you have in the guys to turn things around?
I don't know. I'm not going to walk around here gloomy, but I'm going to try to tell the truth. I can be wrong sometimes. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell my staff the truth. I'm going to own up when I'm out of pocket too or wrong, because we're all accountable. But just because we're not playing well or we're going through a tough stretch, I'm not going to walk around here drooping or no. It's our job to go win. And we need to try to correct the things we can do to go win. And while we're not in it, I'm going to treat you and him and her just like they're human beings, because that's what everybody is. So it's just me right now. But again, I told him the truth. We watched film. I told him the truth. And I'm going to keep telling them the truth. But I'm not going to be mopey about it.
What was your reaction to watching the film?
It was tough, because we talked about the things that we wanted to game plan for or take away, and we didn't do a great job with it. And I said this. I thought it was probably our worst passing game, of the year, and statistically, even I was just while watching the film. Statistically, it was backed up. We averaged 231 passes a game this year, which isn't bad. It's down by about 15 or so passes from last year, which isn't bad. We had 197 last night. We had 197 passes last night, and we averaged 231. That's huge. When you're passing the ball 40 less times than what you average, and it was a telltale sign. We also, in the second quarter, we had 25 possessions, I think Jay said, and of those 25 possessions, 12 of them, we had nobody touch the ball except for the guy bringing it up on half of the possessions. And you do stuff like that. And we told our guys it's a delicate thing, because we have guys that can go get a bucket. We have guys that can go make plays like that. We don't want to stop them from doing that. So what we told them is, you got to feel the game, and also you got to know the team. If you move the ball versus most teams, sooner or later they're going to stop rotating, or their rotations are going to get later and later and later as the ball gets reversed and you touch the paint. And so you have to have a feel for the flow of the game. If you got it going, come up, take a quick three. Come up, take a good midi. We were 3 for 15, I think, during the game when it came to middies. So you got to feel whether or not that thing is working right now to be able to bring it up, not let anybody else touch it and shoot the ball. And so that, for me, was just as disappointing as some of the game plan things we didn't do a good job of. We did as bad as we played defensively, we did enough to win. We didn't box out, and we sent them to the free throw line. We turned the ball over. And now you add all that with 197 passes when we average 230-something, and it's a tough night for you.
You mentioned how the slow starts can give a team confidence the last round of the game. How much did you feel like that was the case yesterday?
It's always the case, whether it happened yesterday against Denver, if it happens tomorrow, if it happens 10 games from now. Anytime you allow, and sometimes you're just going to go miss, but the way we allowed them to score helped boost their confidence. Like, we'd reach. We don't need, they're about to take a tough shot, just wall up and have them shoot over you. And if they make it, they make it. Don't reach, especially on guys that aren't necessarily scorers, and send them to the free throw line. The kid Matt Christie's going to be a great player. You can see his length and his athleticism. But I wonder how many free throw attempts he averages a game. I think he had 8 last night. That's like LeBron averages 6 or 7 a game, and Max Christie gets 8. So, knowing when to send those guys to the free throw line and when not to is huge. We can't reach when he's going to take a tough shot early in the game. It gives him confidence. Can't leave a guy like Gabe Benson, who's shooting at the great shooter, but he's struggling a little bit. He's shooting 26% from the three, prior to last night's game. You can't leave him open on his first shot and let that go in. I mean, these guys are pros. Now they gain the confidence that they need to gain, and it's hard to shut that water off as the game goes along.
That was one of the. I'm glad you brought that up about Gabe Benson. I was asking that question. He was 4 for 5 behind the 3, and of course he might hit 1. But how do you get to the point where you can stop the next 2 or 3 or 4?
Well, again, he's a great shooter. That's how he made his money. That's why Miami took a chance on him. He could shoot the ball, but there are guys that are struggling from time to time in their career, and right now he's shooting 26% from the 3. And if you allow his first shot to be wide, like we didn't even get a hand up, and the the backup center from Boston. I don't even know if he's still there. Remember how he had no chance to block him, but he just jump in the air. Cornette, like 20 feet from the guy, he just jump in there. Like forget the jump. We didn't even do this to him. He was literally wide open, set his feet, shot it, and it just caught bottom net. So his next two, Tony, if you have a chance to watch them go back, they were, first of all, one of them was off on offense, a rebound that if we boxed out, he doesn't get the dagger three. Okay. But his next couple were highly contested. He had one in front of our bench that Keon deflected the pass, so Gabe had to reach for it. Keon closes. Keon's pretty long, too. He closes. He contests. Gabe's falling. Boom. But this is just my opinion. Again, I don't have all the answers. That first one goes in. He gets that first one as comfortable and wide open as he is. It's just it adds to the confidence level that he has throughout the course of the game. The belief. And so trying to make them feel us without sending them to the free throw line unnecessarily to start the game is huge. And sometimes you're going to make shots, sometimes you're going to miss shots, but don't let the game be easy for them to where their confidence increases.
Are you pleased with some of the shot selection you guys had in the second half? And I'm asking that because it seems like teams go on runs and turnovers and almost have to go to.
We had not made sprays. We had 4 sprays the whole second half. And that's why I say, not only that, we had 197 passes for the game. You only have to watch the film. Especially when you average 230-something passes a game, that tells you right now the ball's not moving offensively. Right. That tells you that you're probably taking some tough shots, especially if you only had 4 sprays for the game. I think we were 6 for 12 in the first half on sprays. We had 12 sprays. It's good. We go 2 for 4 in the second half. So if we get to our average, which is around 20, we like to be right around 20, especially if you're shooting the spray 3 at a 50% clip. That's a pretty good game from the three-point line, and it gives you a better chance to score and win, especially if your defense, even though we didn't play great defensively with the things that we wanted to do, keep them off the glass and them to free throw line, they were at 1.08 points per possession, for the game. That's on track to score 108 points. And we spray the ball, we move the ball like we're capable of. We got a really, really good team, especially an explosive offensive team. And we maybe score 112, 113, if not more.
Is a lot of that coming, though, from reacting to what the opposition just did on the offensive end? Almost like hero ball, trying to get it back or anything?
Part of it, yeah. Part of it, because we do. And we told our guys this, it's catch-22, because we don't want our guys to not think, okay, hey, I'm going to come up and go get a bucket. But it's about feel, and I think they all agree. If DeMar has it going and he wants to come up and boom, 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 yeah, go ahead. Same with Fox. Right. Same with Malik, because they're capable. They could put a team on their back at any time from all 3 levels, and so we don't want to take that away from them. But in the same breath, they have to feel the game and feel the opponent and all that other stuff, because if that ball is sticking, now we don't crash the offensive glass as much, because it's like, ran down here, I just stood in the corner, I ain't even touched the ball. Okay, the ball, it creates energy when you get a chance to touch it. You guys all play, the park when you grow up. If you running up and down and you're not touching it, you're like, man, I ain't gonna play with these dudes. I ain't playing with these dudes. I'm not picking him. Yeah. Or exactly what you said. You gonna jack it up the next time you come down. And so it again, if you're touching it, if it's moving, it like causes energy and everybody wants to move it. If you're passing up wide open shots, that can happen. You don't want that to happen. And if you're not moving it, like you said, that can get contagious too. So we're a team that moves basketball, and our guys know it, and we didn't do a good job of it last night. And like I said, there are going to be nights where we got guys coming down and that are feeling it and go get it,
right.
But they get paid a lot of money to figure that out,
Mike, your players seem to be showing, at least publicly, a lot of accountability. They're not playing a blame game or anything. They're taking accountability for what they need to do on the floor. and what you as a staff are saying that they need to do. How important is that for this group and with previous teams that you've coached? Is that the mentality that they need to kind of turn this corner, is to take that accountability themselves?
100%, but it's not just them taking accountability. I got to take accountability too, because it starts with me as a head coach and Foxy, and it's hard to be a great player of what I'm pushing, because Fox has more than a chance to do it. He's on the verge of doing it. To be a great player that helps your team win at the highest level is absolutely freaking hard. But it's my job to push him to do that and be that, because he's been almost a great player, but he hasn't consistently pushed his team to win. That's one of his next biggest steps. But it starts with him, it starts with me. And we have to be held accountable for who we are and the amount of money we make comparative to everybody else. That's the first thing. Next thing is, in order to have in your business, if somebody screws up and they're like, hey, you did it. It wasn't my fault that the camera wasn't working or that the mic wasn't working and we didn't get this thing. You bought this cheap device for us to use. This whole thing gonna fall apart. So everybody has to have some sort of accountability to what's going on with whatever process you're going through. Just as importantly is, you guys gotta hold each other accountable too. It can't always come from your president or your vice president or whoever's in charge. Sometimes it's gotta come from within. And so we have to make sure we continue to take on the accountability of what's going on. But we also, because everybody has blind spots, I got blind spots, we also have to make sure that, hey, if I'm messing up, I got to be open to Ricky coming and saying, Mike, you screwed up here, do this right. I can't be like, I can't take it personal. I got to sit back, think about it, say, hey, you know what, you're right, I'll be better. So it has to be across the board.
How much have you seen that internal leadership and accountability, and who stood out to you in that aspect?
Hey, guys are getting better, like you said, at taking, oops, I keep killing your mic, at taking accountability. It's hard to go tell your peer or to hold your peer accountable, because if I'm gonna hold my peer accountable, I gotta make sure I step up and I say, hey, I'm wrong, I gotta be better, and end it that way, but then go be better. I gotta be able to do that in order to tell you, you gotta be better. So that is probably one of the hardest things that I've seen players over the years have to try to figure out and or do, is how do I hold my teammate accountable? Because it ain't always gonna be, hey Brendan, you gotta be better, man. Sometimes, you gotta be better, come on. And so you may take that personal and get mad at me, and it's a risk that I gotta take, just like with Fox. I'm gonna be on Fox because I know how great he can be. But if I'm on him, anybody that has something on him hard all the time, they could take that personal. They may not like it, and they may get tired of me quicker than normal. But it's a chance sometimes in a leadership role you have to take. And it's a tricky situation for guys to figure that part out. And guys are getting better with it, but it's extremely, extremely hard.